This is absolutely essential. Hey, I'm McDuffee, video game and TV and film composer. Been doing this for about 15 years. I've worked on things such as River City Girls 1, 2, and 0, the trailers for Annihilation and The Predator, and all the Atari Recharged games. Chances are you clicked on this video because you're curious to know how to get into video game scoring, or basically what it's all about. So I am here to tell you 10 of my favorite things that got me to where I am today. It is essential that you actually enjoy, and better yet, love video games. Thank you for being here. Be sure to give me a like and a subscribe. It super helps me out. Number 1 is composition. If you clicked on this video, you're already producing music. Maybe you're in a band, maybe you're a solo artist releasing music. For the composition side of things, we're talking arrangement, we're talking tone, we're talking how to analyze references and example music that you're given. People often ask me if studying music or getting a music degree is essential to get into this line of work. And while it is not essential by any means, it does give you a foundation to then apply in your analyzing of reference material. For example, recently I was working on Apex Legends Mobile. I was given some tense action tracks and I had to be able to listen to the reference, pick apart the different elements that really made it tick. What was the bass doing? What was the percussion doing? How many layers is it? Is it really small and intense, or is it really freaking large and intense? Moving on to number 2 is production. Instrument and sample choices. Running recording sessions, I've had to do that in the past many times, roping my husband into playing guitar, finding outside musicians for talent when your score needs just a little bit something else, and instrumentation choices, making sure decisions on lyrics and the overall structure of the track. Moving on to number 3 is mixing. This is absolutely essential because all of your hard work in producing and arranging and composition is going to go nowhere if it sounds like poo. So you have to be really good at either mixing yourself or finding somebody you trust to deliver really competitive mixes for you. I mix about 90–95% of my work, but every once in a while when it comes down to the wire or I need something really specialized, I will spend a couple $100s or a little bit more to really have a good mix that I can deliver. Number 4 is very specific to video games, and that is working in dynamic layers and loops. When I go into a piece that I know I'm writing for a game score, I think in circles. I think about whether the beginning of the track and the end of the track are going to meet up harmoniously. And that is very different from a film score or just a track that you're making for release. Touching briefly on dynamic layers, structuring your composition vertically where you have a foundational layer, say this is your percussion, your bass, things like that, that's really gonna drive the track that can come in and out based on gameplay. So for example, when I'm working on the Atari Recharged games, I will start with percussion and bass layer, and then as the gameplay gets more intense, you're racking up those points, all of the gritty synths will come in. And then finally, when you're at the highest point of tension, the really rockin' synth melody will come in. So as I'm delivering these layers, I have to make sure, and you will have to make sure, that each layer is a seamless loop unto itself when you give them to the developer. Number 5 is running a client-based business instead of releasing your own music for the fun of it. Specific to a client business will be things like working under deadlines, working with contracts, and working with other people's creative visions. So since you're gonna be making music for somebody other than yourself and your cats, you want to treat it like a job. I know that sounds no-brainer. There've been some days. You wanna get dressed, you want to organize your schedule. I was getting really overwhelmed with all of these deadlines and all of these requests and requirements, and having a really structured calendar and sticking to it will save you time and headache. With any new project, be prepared to discuss exclusivity. Is your music going to be exclusive to this project? Is it a work for hire buyout, in which case they would own everything you do and you would dust your hands of it at the end? Or are you given soundtrack rights to release a soundtrack? In a client-based business, you are creating music for somebody else, for somebody's project, for their vision. It's very specific to them. You're not typically going to be able to do whatever the heck you want. So be really good at adapting your creativity to someone else's project. project spec. Number 6 is contracts. I am by no means a legal expert. You will be probably wanting to consult with somebody who is. Be familiar with basic legalese so that you can navigate a contract that will be supplied for you in most cases. The explicit breakdown of what you will be doing and delivering. The deadlines, deliverable amounts, exclusivity, if it's a buyout or not, how many versions of tracks are you delivering, how many stem layers are you delivering, and how many revisions are you willing to do. Sometimes I'll have to do like a mellow version and then an action version of the same track. Things like how you're going to be paid. Are you charging per minute of music, or are you charging a flat rate per track? Or a single flat rate for the entire project? Or perhaps you're getting a revenue share, which is uncommon, but it does happen with smaller indie games. Most larger companies will have a contract that they will provide for you, but some indie games or smaller developer teams will not, and in that case, be prepared to provide your own. And absolutely do not work for credit alone.
No! God, please, no! No!
At least make them buy you lunch. Just kidding. I know it might be tempting to get in on a project when you're first starting out just for the exposure. It's not going to do you any good, trust me, I've been there. At least get a small or medium or large size of the revenue share.
Come on, give me the cash!
Or a small stipend that you can work with and feel good about. Number 7 is who you know. This is by and large, one of the most important things that I could impart to you. You'll want to make friends with game developers, producers, directors, people at these companies who make decisions, and make real friends. Get really good at creating real relationships that last. Not just business relationships, but actual friendships. You want these people to remember you and refer you. How do you find these people? Number 8 is conventions. Things like GDC being first and foremost, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco is a fantastic place to meet said developers and producers. Be prepared to shake every hand, smile at every person, and hand out all of your business cards wherever you can. Be super engaged with these people's projects, ask them about what they're working on. Chances are they will be super excited, and you will also then be very excited. It can really help to further cement these long-term relationships if you go to the same conferences every single year and meet and lunch the same people. That sounded weird.
Lunch them.
Lunch them. You further cement these relationships with people and see the same folks that you met the year before. Number 9, which is persistence. This is one of the main things you want to keep in mind while you're building this empire that you're going for right now. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a while to build up these relationships, to build up these skills, to build up your knowledge and your professionalism. Obviously, everybody's journey is different. I would say give it a decade. A decade is a very, very solid go. Yeah, as with anything that's worth doing, persistence is key. You're gonna have some not so good days and you're gonna have some really big wins. Sometimes you won't get hired for the project you really, really want, but it's about the long game. Our final, number 10, is be nice. Be flexible, be agreeable, stick to your guns, but also be a good person to work with. If you want to know more about a specific thing that I mentioned in this video, let me know down below in the comments. I greatly want to encourage you to pursue this amazing career, and hopefully what I've said is a little bit inspiring to you. Thanks for hanging with me, and I am reachable for any questions, so please reach out to me. Bye! Toy! You can put that at the end.